Hey there, I hope everyone's having a great day. Thank you for joining me again for another episode of yqginbloom. My name is Tracy Martins and I will be your host. Today, this podcast is sponsored by Auntie Aldu's Kitchen. Auntie Aldu's is a family favorite of mine. She offers a huge variety of hand pies, pastries, baked goods, soups, savory pies, you name it, she has it. She also has wonderful coffees and lattes, as well as other beverages. All of her products and ingredients are locally sourced. Make sure if you hit the Windsor, Essex County area to stop by Auntie Aldu's Kitchen, and definitely follow her on Instagram and Facebook. Now, today is a very special day for me. We have the lovely Venom here with us today.
Hi.
Not my first drag queen friend, not my first drag queen show, but you stand out from the rest. It's extra.
It's the jawline.
You know what?
Sticks out.
Actually, you do have a good jaw and cheekbones.
Thank you.
But your makeup, you do a fabulous job. You do that all yourself, right?
I do, yes. I do it all myself. I'm self-taught, which means that I've gone through the stages of horror that most drag queens have. If you have not gone through a stage of horror, you're a liar.
Yeah. Even us girls growing up.
Oh, that's it. 2008.
First time you have makeup, forget it.
The Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse.
Uh-huh.
Bring it back.
It was so easy to apply. Just one and done. Now, what got you into being a drag queen?
Okay, so I was always interested in drag. Ever since I was like 14, I would say. But I have a drag mother in Nova Scotia. So I was born and raised in Nova Scotia. And my drag mother, Stevie Vonsnaps, has been doing drag for, I would say like 10 years, maybe.
Now,
maybe like 8 years.
What is a drag mother? I've never heard of that before.
Okay, so a drag mother is a term probably established, I would say, in like the 40s. Maybe the 60s, I think more the 60s would be, I don't have the exact date. But a drag mother is basically a person who has been doing drag for a while.
Okay.
Keep this in mind, if you're having drag children, keep this in mind. Has been doing drag for a while.
Yes.
And knows what they're doing in some aspects. So they're trained, they've been around. And then they will usually take in drag children. So drag mothers originate from when like younger queer youth were exploring their gender identity, and they would usually get kicked out of their homes.
Okay.
So drag mothers would usually start houses, and then those kids would move in, and then they would grow into adults, and it would basically be like their own type of family. So that's where drag mothers kind of started.
Okay.
It's now trickled down through the years, basically with advances in politics and gender equality. So a lot more people just become drag mothers, and they're not starting full houses where everybody lives together. But they are mentoring newer drag performers, just kind of showing them the ropes. Some people are just claiming children off the street. Which is nice, but please teach them something.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
But that's where drag mothers originate from. So my drag mother basically scooped me up. She was starting a merch line.
Okay.
And wanted somebody to model up for her. And instead of modeling for her, she just put me in drag and then was like, this'll do. And then Venom was born.
And she has stayed.
And she has stayed.
So how old is Venom?
So Venom, goodness, I would say I'm about two and a half.
Okay.
2.5, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah. Time flies.
But you know what? Your performance you look like you've been doing it a heck of a lot longer than 2 years.
Yeah, I broke my foot actually in 2020 at a Pride celebration, and I jumped off a stage and I had a strap on my heel cut through all of my metatarsals on the top of my foot.
Oh my goodness.
So I wasn't able to like dance or rehearse. I wasn't actually back to like full capacity for like dancing and moving until I would say within the last 5 months.
Oh my goodness.
I can like these shoes that I'm wearing when I first got them, I couldn't really wear them because like my foot would still not bend in the way I needed it to bend. So I'm finally just having more fun being able to dance and move again. I quite literally thought I was never going to be able to. I thought it was over. I was like, well, she started and she's done.
It was a nice
She was
year.
short-lived.
Hey, I say kudos to you to all drag queens for wearing those kind of shoes. I'd still like to know how in the hell you dance in them.
Well, I will
Holy.
say we've learned from our mistakes. This is not a dancing shoe. A dancing shoe is usually secure.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So take that. If you're listening, please wear a secure shoe when you're dancing.
But
Do not
even
wear.
in heels.
Some girls will wear like a really nice like strappy heel, and they'll
Okay.
have like a clear band that you can't really see, but it'll hold the foot in.
Okay.
That is a really good dancing heel because like your foot's not going anywhere. But I see a lot of queens, including baby Venom, wearing a strapped heel with nothing else holding it in.
Ooh.
And then your foot's just like, oh, you're clinging on. You got little cliffhangers just praying to God that you don't lose your ankle.
Yeah, and kinking up. Oh. No, couldn't do it. Tried. I've tried, but no, my foot just does not fit into those. It's just, I feel pain when I see shoes that are that high.
There's something about them. And especially now that after I've started transitioning, I just live for a heel. There's something about,
And you find them comfortable?
I wouldn't say comfortable, but I would say they're like powerful. Like I just feel more confident. Maybe it's because I just have a decent set of legs.
Oh, your calves are killer.
Thank you. They're from my mother.
Nice.
Not my drag mother, my biological mother.
Nice mom.
Yeah. She gave me a couple things, some trauma and these legs.
Hey,
Thanks, Mom.
we all have them. Thanks. My mom's not watching anyway, so.
Yeah, I probably so much for mine.
So, how did you develop your style and your character? Like, is that something that you really have to take a long time figuring out?
That's a really good question
Yeah.
because it's ever changing for myself. I'm constantly kind of finding what makes me feel comfortable, confident, and happy.
Okay.
Where when I first started drag, I thought, I was like, my name is Venom, I have to be like kind of spooky. And I would really lean into that aspect of my drag. So I was like, oh, like Elvira. And I still love that aspect of my drag.
I was gonna say, I saw those pictures of you goth the other night.
So that's like my roots. Thank you. But it's ever changing for myself. There are queens that know like their textiles, their motifs, like everything right off the bat, and they are stuck with them their whole career, and which I think is really good for those girls. And like kings, most performers, if they have that, like they're very successful. If you have a good brand. Myself, I try and just use like community outreach, kindness, and just like positivity. With like a little bit of shade, you gotta have some fun. That's where it was born. That's what drag is. But that's what Venom is right now. Because I'm just constantly ever changing. I've started transitioning outside of my life, which I think has really influenced who Venom is.
Oh, for sure.
In terms to like who I am, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's almost like a smidge of a.
It's like an amalgamation.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you need to keep them separate.
Exactly.
Because Lord knows I'm not looking like this
But
when I go to get groceries. I would love to look like this when I get groceries.
Okay, but yeah, realistically, if you're transitioning, you're lucky if you throw eyeliner on and go to the grocery store.
That part.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah, you're not getting this, honey. Sorry.
Oh, so you are in the begining stages?
I'm in my baby stages.
Wow, that's exciting.
It is. I had kind of like an inkling, but it was really repressed.
Oh, yeah.
Like being like a rural kid from Nova Scotia, I didn't really even have the opportunity or the option to explore that part of my life. So I didn't even consider it an option for the longest time until I moved here and I started working with Trans Wellness Ontario, and just like giving myself the opportunity to reflect and be like, is this, because there's a trans woman told me, who is like a really good mentor to me, her name is Angelina, and she told me that a really good sign that you owe it to yourself is if you keep asking yourself the question. So if you are constantly asking yourself like, well, is this for me, or may I be trans? Like, you can ask those questions, but most people who aren't trans don't ask themselves that question.
No.
Like, you have probably never woken up one morning and said, oh, you know what I need to be today? A man.
I wish.
I know, we all do.
Although I'll be happy not to have the face here. But
same.
Yes,
but yeah,
nice.
that is where it all began. And I've just recently, so I've like started reaching out, like medically, I have to go through a couple of things. I'm not putting a bunch of weight on it and being like, I'm doing this, and there's like a strong timeline, because I feel like that'll stress me out.
Yeah, it's going to happen when
it's just going to happen really naturally, and I'm just going to basically enjoy my life and give myself the opportunity to just do and be who I want to be. That makes sense?
Perfect sense.
Yep.
Perfect sense. Now, okay, getting on to a little lighter side, do you have a signature song or performance?
Oh my gosh. So I actually don't have a signature song.
Okay.
But I have a couple staples that I have realized make their way back up throughout the years. So I love Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Oh, yeah.
Not by Marilyn, though, by Carol Channing.
Yes, that was a good
cover. It's my favorite.
Yes.
And when I broke my foot, I haven't done this, but I want to do a reprise because I loved it so much. I still wanted to perform when I broke my foot, and I had like a little knee scooter. So I just did Hell on Wheels by Cher.
Oh my goodness.
And I just did it, I would not do any other song. I was like, oh, I have to perform twice? You're getting Hell on Wheels twice.
Yeah.
And I would roll around on my little scooter, and there's some days I wake up and I go, oh, I miss my scooter days.
How do you feel Windsor is with the drag community?
So yeah, ever since like the emergence of RuPaul's Drag Race in like the early 2000s, it's really just brought it into the mainstream and made it a lot more like acceptable. People are like, well, this is enjoyable. Like, we like to watch this. So it's really blossomed. In Windsor, coming from a rural town, I expected almost like more queer representation, because we're so close to Toronto, you know what I mean? But it didn't transfer in the way that I thought it would, because I have been like openly queer in Halifax in Nova Scotia. And I felt almost like more comfortable. Now that was a couple years ago, that would be 2 years ago. But I almost felt more comfortable there than I have in Windsor sometimes, which I thought was very, very interesting. Yeah. I remember calling like a couple of my friends and being like, I don't know what's in the air up here, but like, I'm on edge.
It's the border city.
It's the border, and that's what a lot of people have told me, that it's that we're a border city. But the community here is very vocal and tight knit. So all of my friends, like, well, I've branched out now, but a lot of my friends when I first moved here were in the drag community. They were they were very welcoming, open arms when I showed up off the little plane.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, I was really like, I have a drag family up here called the House of Whimsy. Okay. And a house usually consists of like a bunch of performers who usually like kind of have their each other's backs. Again, that circles back to drag mothers and drag houses. And they're really tight-knit with me. And that consists of like Miss Mercury Retrograde, Lua, Luxie Charms, Hudson Bay. Oh, well, a lot of girls start, back in the day, they used to say it was your first pet and your street name. Okay. So like, what was your first pet's name?
Poppy.
Poppy. What was your street that you grew up on?
Lakeside.
Poppy Lakeside.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I love it. Yeah. I live for Poppy Lakeside.
So So that's how you guys...
So that's how a lot of girls back in the day would kind of get their drag name. A lot of people now just kind of do. So Venom for me, like I thought, like I'm pretty quippy and I enjoy fun banter. I love throwing shade, but it's always just for fun. So that's why I thought Venom, because it's kind of punchy. It's a little...
Yeah. You can have a little sass.
You can have a little
name.
sass, yeah. And then the Vonsnaps comes from the drag family, so.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I didn't
Which
realize...
circles back to my drag mother's mother, who started in like the early 2000s, maybe even the 90s. I can't confirm, but her name was Bridget. Bridget Vonsnaps, and she adopted my drag mother, who then adopted me. So there's 3 of us.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do others take on the name of their drag mother, or is that...
So some do.
Okay.
Like some people when they're entering a house and they take a last name, it's based on like old pageantry as well. So there's like full pageantry like queens that have gone for years, like decades. So like the Davenports, the Duprees, like that's kind of where it stemmed from.
Okay.
But nowadays, some people, when they're adopted into a drag house, they don't even take the last name. Like they're just saying like, oh, that was my drag mother, like my drag mentor, but they want their own last name. I myself like really admired Stevie and Bridget. So I was more than happy to take the last name, if that made sense.
No, it does. It perfect sense. It's like a child being adopted. You take your parents' last name.
Exactly.
Out of respect.
Out of respect.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Now, I know I've just known the drag community for a short amount of time, and I'm still dipping my toes
Oh, yes, you just opened the door.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
and you're just
between
waiting
you
through
and
the crowd.
Coco, and I've been to 2 of her shows, and now I've seen one of your shows. And what I'm finding is that there's a lot of misconceptions about a drag show and about drag queens, because I had no idea that there are, because I don't want to get into this gender identity thing, but even biological women can be drag queens, which I had no idea.
Oh, yes.
Now, did I say that right?
Yeah, you did a great job. You did a great job. Yeah, listen, I'm not here to be like, I'm not here to be the police. I almost, never mind, I almost just said ACAB. But no, I'm not here to police. I'm not here to police people. I am here to just like educate. I feel like a drag queen's job in a community. And that's what we're rooted in. Like drag queens were rooted in, we started Pride, like we threw the first brick. So women doing drag has existed for a long time.
Okay.
And it's really segued from like the burlesque scene.
Okay.
And then women can do drag because it's basically, drag is usually, it's typically like femininity or like performance exaggerated.
Okay.
So even if you're not being a woman per se, like you can be like a drag creature, you can be like a drag king. So it's quite literally just taking a character and exemplifying it and making it marketable, entertaining, and community oriented is what I think it stems from.
I like that idea because I had no idea.
Like we have a local performer, her name is Miss Mercury Retrograde. She is, it's called an A. It's different for some people don't align with this, but like an AFAB performer, so it's assigned female at birth. She's an AFAB performer. And she's really good at it. She's really good at it.
Yeah.
Her costumes, like her production, her wigs.
Yeah.
Like she does good stuff.
I know, like I had no idea about drag kings or creatures or, but I know the shows
it
are...
spans, it's very extensive. So
huge.
There's RuPaul's Drag Race and there's Dragula. Those are the 2 main shows, and there's a couple side shows.
I haven't seen Dragula.
Dragula is basically drag, but like spookified. So like think Fear Factor meets reality television. So like these queens are sewing outfits, they're performing, but they're also like doing, like they're eating bugs and they're like getting buried alive. Like, and that's where drag creatures will kind of fall in, because drag creatures are are giving you something completely different.
Now, is their makeup staying perfect the whole time?
A lot of them are really good. I'm telling you.
Okay, they'd kill
A
on
little bit of cake
YouTube.
and spackle. They don't move.
It's true though. I've watched you guys perform, everybody perform, and the makeup is flawless at the end. Hair might be rumpled.
Hair might be a little ruffled.
And the costumes, your dresses can be a little whoa, but makeup still spot on, perfect.
Notorious for a little outfit debacle.
Now, how did you learn how to do the makeup? Was it from your mother, or is it just years and years of practice?
There is not. No, I have some people on like my dad's side of the family, but not one woman in my life did makeup. My grandmother like loved Clinique and like Lancome, you know.
Yeah.
So I remember like being younger and like sneaking into the bathroom and like playing with her makeup. I didn't even put it on my face. I was like I was just playing with it.
Yeah.
But she still has that makeup from when I was like a child. So, and my mother doesn't do makeup at all. So like when I call my mother and I am in full makeup, she's like, "How did you do that?" Yeah. So I've done it all. I've taught myself using like YouTube videos. And I had to like hide it for a long time. So I remember one time my grandmother like caught me and found my makeup train. And she like was like, "This is not happening." And she like threw out my whole makeup train. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I just like threw everything into like a rucksack over my shoulder and out the door I went. Cause I was like, and I think that's where a lot of like, that's where Venom can stem from too, is I didn't take a lot of guff as a child. I didn't, like I had a complex situation. So I was constantly being like, "This isn't gonna fly." I was a little delinquent at one point.
So was I.
So we all, listen, if you weren't a delinquent, you weren't having fun.
Oh, exactly. I'd rather.
And you know what? I got it all out of the way now. So I'm in like my mid-20s.
Before we could hit jail. Get it.
No prison. And I love going to bed before 10. I know.
It is. I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I don't care because
I won't get up at 6, but you can get me up at 9.
I don't want to get up at 6. That was the problem with having my son. The day I found out I got pregnant, up before dawn, and it just never went away.
It's not a bad thing, though. It's not a bad thing.
No, I get a lot of stuff done and then get to bed early.
And then you feel good. You're like, "Look at all the stuff I've done before 10 a.m.
I know. And then you can sit back and relax and not feel guilt. I love that. Now, is there any certain misconceptions about a drag queen that we haven't covered yet?
So this is like a newer misconception. You probably know what I'm gonna cover. It's the whole like drag queens are groomers. Drag queens are like out here to like steal your children and eat them for dinner. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, like there's just a lot of rhetoric that has just been backpacked off of like political policy. And they just use drag as like a wonderful reason to ignore what's actually going on.
Easier to blame.
It's so much easier to blame because respectfully, like I have no business with children. I don't even know if I want them. It's okay. Yeah, and you know what? I can read a book. I can read you a children's story, but like that's the extent of it. Like I promise you, drag queens are not thinking about kids.
Oh no.
I promise you. And there's rhetoric that like drag queens are like nasty and.
You know what I'm almost wonder if like, people understood about the drag mothers. Because then it makes a lot more sense because it's a mentorship. It's a family and a mentorship. You can be part of these community groups and be mentoring and they're...
Drag has existed for...
Yeah, just taking care of you guys.
For like well over 100 years, drag has been documented. So it's not new.
No.
It's just that it's new that it's so popular in the mainstream, which is great. But then it also makes it a target, which for most things.
Yeah.
All you can do is just be vocal.
Yeah.
And I like if you haven't been to a drag show and you have like these thoughts and feelings and conceptions, go to a drag show. If you haven't been to a drag show, go to one. They're fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. The people, the audience, they just have a blast. They just, honestly, they have a blast.
It's one of my favorite. It's my favorite part.
I
of seeing
really
people's,
enjoyed
like,
it.
Smiles and like
get right into it.
People get it. People love it. It's so
goodness.
fun for so many people.
It is. It is. And that's what people don't understand is it's not some kinky sex night or anything.
It's not
fun. It's like a performance, a show, a play.
It's like
burlesque.
It's so theater based.
Yes.
Like and it can be.
You guys are
like
performing.
We're performing, and it can be like raunchy. It can get adult themed. But
so
then
can movies.
Yeah, so can movies. Also, just don't take your children to these shows. That is my biggest like thing when people are like, oh well, like you're exposing our children. We are not exposing.
You guys
You are making an active choice to take your child to a show where adult content could be taking place. That is not on me.
No.
If it's an all ages show, it is then on me, if it's advertised that like young people are going to be there,
Exactly.
it's then on me to make it marketable and safe, like not a overtly like R-rated environment. And that's on all drag queens. If you know you're going to be with young people, then I expect myself and most performers to use a little bit of like cadence in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just common sense.
Common sense.
As a human
which we
being.
lose year after year, I've noticed.
Well, it's easier to blame others than to blame yourself. But I want to talk really quickly about Pride, our Pride Fest that's coming up in August. Now, did we already have a Pride Parade in June?
I don't think we had a parade in June.
No? Okay. You just see so much. It's so hard to tell between online and
I know. And then I even get confused when
Pride Month in June, but
Pride
we're having Pride.
August. Back home, they had it in like September. I broke my foot in September at a Pride show. I think it lines up a lot for like districts and like times of year. I'm not on a Pride board, so I don't know the full reasoning on why it would be in August. This is my first time performing in Pride here in Windsor.
Yay!
So I know the parade is going to be in August. Maybe it's just easier for them to span it out because it would be too jam-packed to do it in June.
It's possible.
With a million, like Toronto Pride, and then there's would be Sarnia Pride. So if it was all in June, maybe some people are going to feel like they're going to miss events or something.
This way they can hit
them all type vibe. But yeah, this is my first time performing at Pride. It's going to be at Lansbury Park.
It's my first time going to it.
So I actually couldn't get the day off last year at my job. So by the time I was off of work, most of the festivities were over. So this is my first year, like going, and I'm performing.
Oh my goodness.
So it's with Trinity the Tuck and a couple like really like all-star performers from like Toronto. And then we have like a local queen, my sister Epoxy, she's in it.
Okay, yes.
But Trinity the Tuck won her season and she's going to be headlining the show. So
I'm excited.
I'm very nervous.
You'll be fine.
I know, I'll be fine.
You are a performer in and out of drag.
Yeah, I do try. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've come to realize that I do put on a performance in most places of my life.
But that's okay.
Oh,
you
the
have
world's too boring.
Flair,
yeah,
and I love
world's
it.
Too boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's studies show
and
that color has dropped like worldwide in the last like 50 years. There's just less color everywhere.
It's like, as my son would say, we've turned back into the gray days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it.
He always said the black and white TV shows and that it's from the gray days. And it's okay, whatever. But there's not just the drag shows at Pride Fest. They have
they have I think they have like picnics and they have like painting events. There's like open discussions. There's gonna be like pop-ups with local businesses.
Oh.
Pride season is really good because it engages a lot of local businesses who want to be a part of Pride, which also like gives them more business in the long term.
Of course.
Which I think a lot of people tend to forget about Pride season is it's for visibility, but it also fully engages your local communities when you're starting them. Like it gets vendors out, it starts businesses.
It helps make it more mainstream.
It just makes it more mainstream,
acceptable,
and a lot of people, and it stimulates the economy in your local area.
Exactly.
And a lot of people forget that. A lot of people forget that.
A lot of money is spent.
A lot of money is spent on the gays. And everybody else, but they spend a lot of money on the gays.
Okay, now looking at your shoes and your outfit, where do you find clothes that fit? Like the shoes, they're gorgeous shoes.
So,
I can't find a 7.5.
I'm like a drag, like a hunter. Like I hunt down these items, mostly because I'm cheap. Because like drag's expensive. Overall, like it's all expensive. So you have to be very tactful because you can basically blow thousands of dollars right out the gate if you want to look and do what you want to do, which is fine. But if you're not getting booked to pay those bills off, then you're just sitting there with thousands of dollars to drag and you're like, oh God, what did I do? So myself, like if like a performer is selling something and I really like it, I'll like message the performer and buy it off them. So they're usually commissioning it and then you're getting it for half of the price or whatever they paid.
Wow.
I will scope thrift stores like no one's business. If there's something I need an outfit for, like I will. I have had outfits commissioned and done. You just do what you got to do to find what you need. Shoes are a hard one.
Yeah, I was
You
going to
find
say.
a sister who has bigger feet than you or about the same size, and then you just wait for her to die like I did. She didn't actually die, but she just wasn't doing drag anymore, so I just inherited a lot of her stuff. But like all of my shoes, like I would have to go on like Pleaser, like Shoe Freaks. Like there's a lot of sites now that drag has become popular. So but yeah, you can get shoes. You can get shoes from anywhere.
That is.
Now that drag has become more mainstream, there's just so many retailers. Even Amazon has expanded their size where you can get like size 12, like size 13. It's when you're it's when you're a really big footed girl and you're at Mrs. Big and Tall. People forget how tall they are and then they buy these little dresses and then they're like inches away from a lawsuit and I'm like, girls, longer dresses.
Especially when a lot of you are 6'4" out of heels. I know, like Coco, when they booked our photography studio to get pictures done, Haley, the photographer is going, do you have anything big enough? Because she might be close to 7 feet in her shoes. And it's
7 feet?
Well, probably close. I'm not sure.
Taller than me,
she is tall.
She was a tall girl.
Yeah.
Was. We have to use was. She's no longer with us.
In my heart,
I know.
I'm hoping.
Well, see, I have so much of her stuff now that my room smells like her. So when I walk into my basement, I go, oh, smells like a dead girl.
So where do you see Venom going?
So for a while, I was just doing drag and Venom wasn't going to go anywhere. Venom was just going to be like with me and I was going to perform where I could perform and just enjoy life. But as I have started to grow and my foot healed in a way that I can move again, I'm just going to keep on actively I try to actively improve after each event. If that makes sense. Like I try to, after every event, successful or non-successful, I'll basically kind of pick it apart and be like, what went right, what went well, what didn't go well. So then hopefully, the hope is that I will just be like very like polished and well put together in like the next 5 years, where when you are performing at that level and you are delivering a certain expectation, then you can do more with your drag. So like, who knows if I want to go on television? Who knows if I want to start?
I think you should.
I would love to. I think I would.
You would have great personality for that.
I would love to be on television. I actually wanted to audition for Big Brother.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if I should do it like this or if I should just
definitely.
Right? Wouldn't that be fun?
Seeing the looks on everybody's face.
Oh my God, it would be insane.
With those pink gloves. Oh, hell.
Into the Big Brother house. Now let's see how long it'd last.
Hopefully it'd be a good house.
I think,
Because it would be It would be so
Well,
funny
they hunt
to see
for
you
some
on there.
reason in reality television. They hunt the queers down in like 10 minutes. The Traitors, they just had Peppermint on it, and Peppermint was in and out within like the first 2 episodes.
And I'm sorry, the producers, they're stupid then, because you keep that on and you got some drama for weeks to go.
People don't understand the queers. Some of them, gay men love drama.
Oh my gosh,
Love
yes.
it. Love it.
Oh, Coco, rest in peace, told me about Real Housewives. I watched Vanderpump Rules. And, well, you got to watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Wait, did you watch Beverly Hills?
Yes.
What season?
All of them.
All of them?
I binged
Who's your
for
least
months.
favorite housewife? And then who's your favorite housewife?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I love Yolanda.
You love the Yolanda?
I know
Honestly,
she was
we
vanilla.
love Yolanda. Yes.
She was vanilla, but she went through an awful lot.
She did.
And she had class. And I think that's what I loved about her, was that she had class. But there's a lot of them. Lisa Vanderpump, for one.
Lisa Vanderpump. Okay, Lisa Vanderpump was one of my favorites. And then Lisa Rinna
Oh,
was my all-time favorite housewife.
she
Because
was.
she just woke up every morning,
Oh my goodness.
dusted off her little wooden spoon, and then just stirred every pot she could find.
Even sometimes inadvertently.
And that's why I lived, because she didn't even know. She didn't even know what she was doing.
Yep.
Oh, I love that woman.
Oral vomit.
Yeah, oral vomit.
Yeah,
That's,
there's a lot of them that I was glad they were only one season. Or it was like, okay, now you're just trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, like the goth lady. Do you really think her and Lisa are going to be BFFs?
No,
like,
and then who was the other one? Teddy Mellencamp.
she was too nice.
She was too nice.
But she's still friends with a lot of them.
She is. She has her own podcast, so she has a lot of the girls on it now.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe Kyle Richards is still there.
Yeah.
Good old Kyle Richards. We'll have to see what happens next season with that one.
Yeah. See if she's not admitting
See if she's
anything.
part of the community now.
Come on. You know darn
Oh
well
my
she
gosh,
is. I
yeah.
think it was just we're going to keep this under wraps until the divorce is done and make everybody wait until the new season. And then, hello. It's like, yeah, okay, we already knew because everybody else is wondering.
Oh my God, like who follows their they were really close friends.
She started dressing like her. She always had the best clothes and the best shoes, the best outfits. She could have been a drag queen, and now she's in jeans.
Oh my
and
God, now she looks like
ripped
she was
shirts.
raised at the Hideaway Ranch.
I know. One last question. Are you doing any of your shows outside of the Windsor area, or do you stick directly here?
So I've actually recently, I've done a couple shows outside of Windsor now. So I've done 2 in Sarnia, and then I did 1 in Chatham.
Okay.
And then I might be doing 1, oh my God, Amherstburg. I might be doing 1 in Amherstburg.
Ooh.
No,
The outdoor one. Went there last year, and it was so much fun. Were
so
you
I
there?
might be doing, at the True Fest.
Yeah.
No, Coco was there.
No, I didn't know if you went and watched.
No, I was in, I had to work that whole week.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I might be doing something in Amherstburg in the future.
Hopefully.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Yes.
Please.
Now, where can people find you online so that they know when and where you're performing?
So you can find me online, usually on Instagram, under Venom Vonsnaps, VenomVonsnaps. And I'm usually just on Instagram. You
Okay.
can find me on Facebook under like Jarrett Alexander.
Nah.
Don't look me up. I probably won't add you back. And I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
But I'm not on Twitter. You know,
Oh, X.
I'm on X. Sorry,
X.
X. I'm not on X actively.
No.
But Instagram, like I am on there every single day. You want to get in touch with me, please just DM me.
That's
And go
all.
watch my stories because they're insane.
Yeah.
Ah,
She gets into a lot of trouble.
I know. I know.
It's so nice to. I love it. I love you, and you are so much fun. It allows me to be a little bit more me, which is sassy and snarky and snotty and.
Oh, you're just so fun. You're so
are
fun.
you.
You are so fun.
Okay, quick story. Saturday at Sephora, so I can get my birthday gift there, and we went through every stinking The perfume.
Oh,
We kept spraying.
every
You could
perfume.
smell it at the other end. I came home, I could still smell it. I had an upset stomach. I had to shower.
Oh, I sprayed this like tangerine one on me. I was
Yes.
like, I love this one. And then like 2 hours later, I was like, I hate this one. I smell horrible.
I couldn't smell it after it. Well, that was why it was cheaper. It didn't last that long.
No.
But yes, you definitely have to bring her to the makeup.
Yeah. Oh, so you can like come and get me. You can see me at the Devonshire Mall.
Oh, yeah.
At my day job if you ever need your makeup done.
Makeup.
Come DM me.
She's good. She picked out the lipstick and. Anyway, I do have to call it a day, and thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
Venom Vonsnaps.
You can have me anytime.
Gladly, and
Even
we
after
definitely
8.
will. And make sure to follow her on Instagram.
Please.
And like, follow, and comment on my podcast so I can keep it going. And I also want to remind you that our podcast today is sponsored by Auntie Aldo's Kitchen. Make sure that you follow her on Facebook and Instagram so you know what market she's at, where you can stop in at her cafe.
Those savory pies, girl.
Oh my
I
goodness. The creamy lentil is amazing. Actually, I haven't had one that I haven't liked. And my name is Tracy Martins. I want to thank you so much for joining me for another episode of YQG and Bloom. You guys all have a good day.